Hey, how about them tops, son?
All day, SEC boys. SEC, they supposed to be SEC. Jersey all day, baby.
You're listening to the Red Out Podcast.
Hello everyone, and welcome into a Red Out short clip here. This is from our latest episode. Hope you enjoy.
So I guess what we're really looking forward to is a train sound, damn it.
He looked up train sound.
I did not look up train sound, I looked up blizzard.
Yeah, but he clicks on train sounds, and it's just relaxing train sounds. Not a horn.
Yes, so I guess what we're looking for now is Jared's cold take.
Oh boy, well I got two things that we need to talk about. Alright, first one is not necessarily like a specific take, but just a cold event that happened. With Zion Williamson blowing out his shoe, hurting his knee and everything. I went back, and I don't know how many of y'all remember, but he was considering Western at one time.
I do remember that.
When he was still a junior. Even Evan Daniels, one of the main people with Scout, was talking about how he was going to Hilltopper Hysteria in 2017, maybe last year, I can't remember, but he ended up going to UNC for a visit. But the hype was real there for a second of him possibly visiting Western, and that would have been really huge. I mean, could you imagine him and Charles Bassey in the front court this year? That would be insane. But, I mean, one can only dream, but there's one specific thing that we need to talk about. Usually I have decent foresight when I see someone say something that's going to end up cold. But Matt, we need to talk, fam. This is a comment he said talking about next year. Ben Holt transferring. He said, quote, "I fully expect the Tops to get right back where they need to be. Holt can go to Purdue all he wants. WKU will win more than Purdue next year. Book it." Matt, let me ask you a question. Have you seen Purdue's football schedule for this upcoming season? Yes or no?
No.
Well, let me fill you in a little bit.
Cancel this question. You only get yes or no questions, Matt.
Yeah, so they're playing at Nevada, they're playing at Penn State, at Iowa, at Northwestern, and at Wisconsin. So their road schedule is definitely kind of rough, but they have home games against Vanderbilt, Minnesota, Maryland, Illinois, and Nebraska, and also Indiana as well. So all the bottom feeders of the Big Ten they have at home, and they have a real game at Nevada that they could probably win. So I don't know. Do you still stand by your comment after learning that they don't play any of the Ohio States or Michigan States or Michigans or any of the big teams this year?
Absolutely.
All right. Rondale Moore is coming back for a second season. He'll be pretty good, and they might have a decent quarterback. Probably not, but we'll see.
Okay.
That's how I feel about the Tops. I just want to say this real quick. Sorry. All right. I feel like you look at the talent that we've had, and you look at all the individual awards that we got, being 3-9, and we won the last two games, and we still did this. And we had like 12 or 13 guys that got some kind of recognition, whether it was freshman All-American, All-Conference, honorable mention, whatever. And we only lost a couple of them. So I feel like we'll be all right. So go Tops.
We return a lot of production next year, and obviously as we get into the offseason we can talk more about it, but production and experience is what makes most mid-major teams really good, and that's something that you got to be encouraged about going into next year, especially with hopefully better coaching, knock on wood.
Amen. We're close with terrible coaching. That's what tells me that it really doesn't take a whole lot to get over the hump, to me.
I think Matt's biggest opinion is that the Tops are on fire!
I said, Devin was trying to find that video just now. Which, by the way, we should just save that to the computer.
Yes,
I
need to just save it.
But I was like, you have him live, so you just...
Did you get the umpire one that he sent, I guess, a couple days ago? That was pretty funny, too.
Oh, yeah, that was quality.
Oh, that's right. He's an ump.
Yes, he is.
Oh, man, I forgot about that.
Yes.
Bless your heart.
Yeah, man.
You should become a Conference USA official in basketball. Please do it.
Dude, you have to have learned more in your baseball umpiring class than they know about basketball.
Are you sure?
I don't know how Conference USA works, but I know KHSAA, it's pretty stringent. My father was KHSAA umpire, so it's pretty strict.
He always laughed because one of the coaches he got like that like cussed at him from my high school, I was like, yeah, that guy's a second grade teacher. He's like, no, there's no way. It's like, he said words that I haven't, he's insults I ain't even heard before. I was like, yep, he teaches second grade.
Yes, there's a big clip. I don't know if BKO still got it out, but of Bowling Green versus East, I think is who it was.
Just like extreme cursing.
Well, I don't think there was any cursing. The coach just got mad and decided he was going to throw a 5-gallon bucket full of baseballs on the field. And he got tossed, and...
That sounds like East Coach.
Yeah.
That sounds like him.
It could have been East. I don't know who it was, but it was
we do
hilarious.
redneck, mean stuff like that.
Yes, so Matt, that's what you got to look forward to, buddy.
Yeah. Where that
Can't
come?
wait.
Okay.
I'll take my $75 and go home.
That's right. Make it rain.
Make it rain. So, we're not going to take this as a majority for Ross's sake.
Hey, what about the mailbag?
Oh, yeah, we're going to the mailbag. Of course, I can't read, so that'll help too. But we're going to do the rivalry after the mailbag. But with just letting you know, Ross, we're not going to take a majority. We're going to take best argument, and that's who our winner will be.
Oh, I mean, I'm still biased and can just yell at him and say he's wrong.
We're going to be impartial. We're going to hear his argument.
Yeah, I'll be fair.
I mean,
Yeah,
I'll hear it. I just won't listen.
Okay.
Guys, I'm already getting the dad talk down.
That doesn't sound like a very good dad talk.
I got time. When they're babies, they don't really get it. It's fine.
You just say it because I said so.
I'll be better.
That'll all change. Your dad talk skills will go up way more here in a couple months.
See, exactly. May 20th. Here we go.
I think Ross would be the dad talking person you need to speak to. Because I think he could just tell me no, and I would be like, but.
Hey, man, he's got that schedule down.
Son, I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed.
Oh my gosh, you don't know how hard that hits me in the feels right now.
Right. It's made me sad. Don't bring me down, man. All right, we only have one question on Twitter this week, so we can go ahead and go with that with our buddy Jack Watson. Thanks for always commenting and listening, Jack. And he says, how many wins in these next 3 games?
So, we'll go Ross, then we'll go Matt, then Jared.
Sounds good.
Ross, what you got?
2.
Matt, what you got?
2. Lost to UTSA.
Change it to the other sound, and I'll also say 2. That's better than the doorbell.
2 gets us a bye because you'd imagine one team's going to go 1-3 or 0-4 in the pod system. So
I also think it's 2. I don't think they string together 3 wins in a row. That's dumb.
Some Mike Tyson wannabe says, "Have you themed my baseball team? They're 5-1, maybe 7-1 by the time of the podcast."
Have you seen my baseball?
That's Matt. Just so you know.
For a second, I was like, "Are you really making fun of the listener?" Because he's like,
he really did write it.
Poor guy.
He did write it as
Mary
theme.
Man.
Okay. I was like,
That's for Matt. I can't resist
can we
that.
not make fun of the people listening to the podcast? They're a nice little family.
That guy's got your baseball, but he calls it something different.
Baseball.
Baseball.
So I guess we'll take this because I think we can all kind of rant about this. Who is the 3-year-old in Conference USA that came up with the scheduling for the pod play games?
For real though.
Oh, Lord.
Like Ross talked, like I know it's clunky or whatever.
I'll give what they were intending to do it and just why it just seems bad in retrospect.
Then go.
So with the uneven schedule, you had 5 teams playing 4 games each against each other. So the reason ODU got to host WKU and USM at home is because they were number 2 and number 3 heading into the pod system. So in theory, they get the 2 hardest games after themselves at home, while they get, the 2 easiest, UTSA and Marshall, the 4 and 5 seeds on the road. But that doesn't really take into account for where they played earlier in the season, the fact that, UAB gets to host the top seeds at home and everything else. There was really no right way to do it. I still like this, and I'm not crying because we had to go play at ODU twice. We should have won both times. So, that's kind of how I feel about it. It's not a perfect system, but I really think it's going to take 2 or 3 years before we judge if this was a complete failure.
Okay.
I do agree. If our team was good enough, then they would win all these games. But, I mean, so many inconsistencies makes it what it is. So, I agree.
That question comes from Michael Butler. Great listener. Appreciate you listening, buddy. Blanton didn't get into the last game. What's up? That comes from Jerry.
Well, Jerry, I don't know who Blanton is, so...
Are we talking about Joe Blanton? What? I'm confused.
Blanton's is some good bourbon, by the way.
Yep.
The Lerno Blanton?
I'm just messing with you, man. We all know you're talking about Blanton. It's cool. No, I honestly don't know. It's probably just a rotational thing. If I had
because he couldn't stop turning the ball over against him the first time.
That's kind of what I figured.
Did y'all watch the press conference from? I think it was from today, from Stansbury.
I haven't seen it yet. No.
Nope.
They asked him about Banton, and it was kind of interesting his reaction. He kind of like stiffened up. I'm wondering if he I don't know if he's got some kind of issue with him, or he feels like he's being lazy, or not listening to him, or something. But I sense that there's some kind of like little tiff or something with him, and he was kind of teaching him a lesson.
You think it's a
Something
grades
like
thing or something like that, maybe?
No, I don't think so. I think it was just he didn't like the matchup, and I think Delano gets really beat up with physical play.
That's absolutely true.
Old Dominion's super physical and defensive minded and all that stuff. And he basically said that he didn't think it was a good matchup.
Him and Bassett are the reason we lost him the first time. I do not blame him one bit for not playing him last game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, we need him though. I feel like you still should play him. You don't want to just crap on his confidence right before.
I like him at the 3 or the 4, and then you slide Hollingsworth or Omer in to fill in Bearden's minutes when he needs a break.
Okay, Brett. I'm awful with names. Is it Combest?
Combest.
Combats.
Yep.
That.
Why did Rick's team feel flat compared to HSU?
Shoe.
Hawaii State. What?
That's what I was like. I was like Hawaii State University.
No,
but
Devin can't pronounce names, so that's why he didn't even try.
No. Yeah, I'm awful and I'll butcher. Yeah, I tried to read the Lady Top's last names, and I was like, Terry Schmeath? And they're like, Smith. Oh, my God.
Yeah. Okay. Devin's really good at reading silently, guys. He really is.
Yes, I don't move my lips at all.
That's disgusting.
I thought that was I thought it was a typo at first, but he says we need more HSU hype and energy.
Yeah, it's just the assistant coach's last name's Hugh.
Shoot.
I wouldn't really say we play with that much more hype.
Guys, what are we doing
we
here?
felt we should have lost that game at Rice, and it took a late run to win that one. I mean, we kind of faded down the stretch against North Texas, and then which I'm missing a game in there, but then we play like crap against UAB. Shu did a great job stepping in for Stansbury, but I wouldn't say he was night and day better. I know some fans like to criticize Stansbury's in-game coaching and his X's and O's, but I think by the last game Shu was coaching, you could see that that strategy of just hoisting up so many threes was just totally out of our team's character. So I don't completely agree with that question. So.
Yeah, see, I don't either, and I think that's kind of like rose-colored glasses when people are just like, oh, look, they're doing so good under shoot. It's like, no, look, I don't care how much energy you are. If you can't rein your team in from shooting and throwing up a bunch of bricks, like I said in last week's podcast, like, why don't you just grab him by the face and be like, dude, quit.
Yeah.
And if
it was the same thing with Ray Harper. I mean, he was the assistant under McDonald, and then McDonald gets fired, and then he wins all those games, gets him to the tournament. And, I mean, he did a pretty good job, but, I mean, he wasn't that good of a recruiter, which is honestly what cost him, and plus all the disciplinary things with, like, 3 different players right when he resigned. So, I mean, that's just kind of what you get with the
allegedly.
No biggie.
I just like Matt's reaction. Whatever, sexual assault, whatever.
After we're done, I want to talk through that with you guys real quick, because I've heard so many rumors, but it's not good for the podcast. So.
Yeah, allegedly.
Allegedly. You have to be proven guilty in a court of law. We have no judgments here. Is that good enough for you, lawyer?
That's pretty good.
Okay. Diana McQuady, they actually answered your question, so...
It's like your question's already been answered, so
I'm scrolling as I'm reading this. Dave Ask Coach if he would try the full court press.
I thought you said his name was Dave Ask Coach, and I about died. Ask Coach.
Ask Coach.
Sorry. That is an unfortunate last name.
Dude, that guy had to change his name. Ask Coach if he would ever try the full court press.
Yeah, can I take that?
Yeah, go for it, Matt.
Okay. I totally agree with him, to be honest, about this, because honestly what Western basketball is up-tempo, in your face, get out and run, take risks, that kind of thing, get the ball moving. And we just sit and kind of on offense, we just pass around the top three, just on the wing, and then at the point, and then you throw it into Bassey, then you get back on defense and you play man-to-man, or you play like a 2-3. I do wish, and I feel like when we get a sense of urgency and we press a little bit, things start to happen, and that's always been that way. And it's frustrating to sit there and watch half-court defense when that's not conducive to who we are. So I'm totally.
I think the big reason we're not doing it is because of the depth issues. I don't think, like we've said ad nauseum, we don't trust the bench. We really go only 7 or 8 deep, unless he trusts the bench to do that. I mean, when you press, you're going to foul more. You're going to tire yourselves out more. And I don't think Stansbury trusts the rest of the team to overcome that, to more than press besides maybe a couple minutes a game. But I like the idea, but the depth of this team has just been ravaged this year between Murray and Nelson and just Gambro and everybody else.
Well, that's true. With Murray gone, it really made because he was somebody that you could put, and Merrick too, they were guys that you could put at the point of a press and cause some chaos. But you lose both of them, and it's tough.
Just on that, just randomly, Matt, since you haven't been on, I haven't had a chance to ask you, do you think he's going to transfer after this season?
Merrick, I heard y'all talking about that. I don't know. Like y'all were saying that you sensed that it was another like a weed or whatever problem. I don't know if I buy that.
I'm not buying that.
He is.
I don't get that sense. Here's the thing: is like y'all were saying, because I was listening, and y'all were saying, well, was he even on the sidelines and stuff? He's really engaged in the team. Like, he's really involved. So I'm not sensing that it's either an act and he's trying to get into graces, which maybe that plays y'all's theory, but I don't think so though. I think he's just hurt, and he wants us to win and whatever, and I think he's frustrated that he can't be on the court. But he may transfer anyway. I mean, if he really reads the tea leaves, I don't feel like he's got that much playing time to come grab. But I don't know.
I was just curious. That's pretty much just my snarky skepticism whenever somebody someone has a mysterious injury that we can't really quantify, that doesn't really that we don't necessarily know a lot about.
I'm not buying that. That's not.
Well, I hope not, because we need it.
Well, I don't think he'll ever be more than a role player, but he could be what he was, early in the season, like a, 12 to 20 minute a game player who's going to provide you hustle, rebounds, and draw charges. And you need players like that. That's what good teams have.
Go ahead, Matt.
Yeah, sorry, man. But I think he would be, in combination with Monte being in there, I think he would be one of the difference makers to make us truly one of the elite teams instead of possibly being a contender, because he was maybe the one guy that could stay on the court, because Moo brings some energy and Matt Horton brings some energy, but they're not really able to stay on the court. I feel like Merrick brought energy and was able to hold his own on defense and offense enough that he could have got some minutes and brought some actual juice to the team.
Yeah, absolutely. So he was a hustle player. Yeah, he's an X factor. He was a hustle player that we needed. Yeah. And even if he is just that role player of energy or hustle, I hope it's not the snarky skepticism that I have. I honestly hope it's, hey, he's hurt. Next season he comes back bigger, faster, stronger. I was just curious if I had a chance to ask you about it yet.
He was so
future Boris Siakam is my hope.
There you go.
So, I mean, I guess my take, I'm thinking that if Bassey leaves this year, because
heaven forbid.
Yeah, I don't think it's possible, but my thing is, if Bassey leaves this year, I think Merrick could get more time next year, like you said, as a role player. Because at this point, he's more of an elf plus 20 defense role player more than an actual game player. Some of y'all might not get that, but it's okay.
We're just super nerds. I mean, I'm literally playing with a 20-sided die like right now because I'm a fidget.
And he's shuffling magic cards as we speak.
Yeah, I'm a fidget. I can't help it.
So, let me see. Next question in the mailbag. He's an angry elf. That's right.
I'm small. I'm a hobbit.
The Yellow Brick Road.
Dude, he's just mixing all kinds. He's like making the nerd in me like mad.
He's a South Pole elf. Will anyone beat ODU before the tournament's over?
Yes.
Yeah, I agree.
You agree? Okay, Matt, you think so?
Yeah, for sure.
What needs to happen to get the offense going?
Okay, I'll talk up real quick. I'm frustrated. Like I was saying, they're passing the ball around the perimeter and then you throw it into Bassey. I think they need to move bodies more. Like, I don't know, run some pick and roll, run some backdoor cuts or something. Do something besides just throwing around the front and jacking up a shot when you run out of time, like y'all were talking about last week. I mean, that's my issue with it. You got to get a little bit more player movement.
Okay, Jared, what do you think, buddy? I know you've been really quiet right now, so.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I mean, if they could get out of the cement shoes phase that they're kind of going in as far as on offense, I mean, it's just been so stagnant, all of them just kind of sticking around the perimeter, just throwing the ball to each other. And then it gets down to like 4 seconds, and then they jack up some like god-awful shot that's super contested. But yeah, it's just all about better ball movement, just better awareness, trying to get something done. Maybe around like 15 seconds left on the shot clock, 15 to 10. You don't want to go super late in it because that's how they choke to so many of those leads, is that they would just try milking the clock and not get anything out of it. And then the other team would go down and knock down a 3, and then they're behind. So I definitely agree with that.
Ross, what do you got, buddy?
I'd say keep attacking the basket, keep trying to draw fouls, know your bread and butter, and then when you get a lead, don't let up. I mean, make the other team quit before you just let them back in the game. I think that's been our problem all year. I think, hustle and everything else will solve itself. And if you know your game, you don't have to lose when you can only hit 2 3-pointers. You can win. You can, and then, and I believe after that, everything else will come. Maybe Savage finally gets on a hot streak. Maybe Omer hits a couple clutch ones. It's just playing within yourself and then getting Hollingsworth going, which last game he had 17 points. So that's a start.
By the way, fun fact. Matt's stats here. Western is undefeated when Jake Omer makes a 3.
Awesome.
Done. Gospel.
Yeah, that's actually really interesting stuff.
You're welcome.
Jake should start.
Him and Matt Morton both.
Now, look, Ross, when you do that, you got to get a little bit more twang in your voice. I believe he should start, okay? Like, he's such a good player, he needs to start. You got to get more.
He's got a good heart on his shoulders. Okay?
Yeah, yeah. So you got to get more talk to the manager haircut in there.
He was at church on Sunday, and I think he's a good person, so he needs to play more.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, guys. My twang is just a little bit more mild than your y'all's.
It is. It's that Louisville thing, man.
It's because you're a Yankee.
Yeah.
No, I'm not from across the river.
It cuts off at Shepherdsville. Little do you know, Louisville, it cuts off, man. I'm telling you.
Hey, I was born in Paducah, by the way.
Hope you enjoyed the clip from our latest episode. Subscribe for our weekly Red Out podcast. And always remember, go Tops.